to the music scene, showing lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. So all around town radio show.
All right, everybody, we're going to get started. We're running a minute or two late here. Had a few technical glitches as the interwebs sometimes give us here, but we're back. And we're with you today live at noon here from the Hall Around Town Radio Studios on Wednesday with the band with our friends from Crown Watts today. Hi, Mark. Hi, Alex.
Howdy, Scott.
What's going on?
How are you guys doing, man? What's going on? Alex,
great.
the new guy. New guy. We got a new guy to talk to today.
New guy, yep.
Yes. Hey, Mark Cooper, it's been a pleasure here to have you on the show today. And it's going to be so much fun talking to you about your band because I've been a fan for a while. And I think you guys are doing great things out there. You're bringing a different style of music to the forefront. How long has this been going on, Mark? How long you had this band going on?
We started in 2017. So, over 7 years now. Of course, it took us a year to learn the first 6 songs. So,
well, you didn't exactly pick easy songs to learn either, though. I will say that. You definitely do play some difficult music out there. Why did you choose the prog rock side of things? If I can pigeonhole you into that category, because maybe you don't like to be put in that category. I don't know.
We do some more mainstream stuff, but yeah, I would consider us mainly a prog rock band. I think really just frankly boredom. Like we just wanted to do something that more challenging, which in the end is more work, but it's also a lot more fun when you complete it. And we've all played in cover bands and different bands, original bands. Alex and I were in an original band together before that. And it just, you get towards the end of your, when you're at the top of your talent level, and you just want to see how far you can go, difficulty wise. And I just found a couple other guys that were crazy enough to do it with me. And so that's how we ended up playing 8-minute long songs.
Well, and that's interesting to say, because I've always said you guys are like watching a diving competition, because the degree of difficulty, as it's called there, goes up when it comes to Crown Watts. I mean, a lot of bands can do cover songs. They can. And, some of them easier 3-chord songs, things like you're playing these songs that are technically perfect when you play them. You guys do it that well. But God, it's got to be tough to even add songs to your list if you have that kind of lofty goal. I think. I mean, that's just crazy.
It is. But it might take us 3 or 4 rehearsals. We're getting a little faster at it now, just because I think everybody's grown as a musician. But when we decide to do a new song, that song is the project, for at least a couple rehearsals. But it's actually fun. You start taking it apart on your own at home before everybody gets together, and that's fun. And then when everybody comes together, having worked on each part on their own, and we put it all together, it's a lot of fun. But that's why it took us a year to learn the first 6 songs.
Well, and that's funny you say that, because I tell people all the time, people ask me about you, and they're like, tell me about this Crown Watts band, especially people that aren't from Cincinnati. And I try to describe it as the fans that come and see you, or your friends. I hate the word fan, but the folks that come to see you, they sit in that audience laser focused on the music. I mean, they are musicians. They're just fans of the technical music, the fact that you guys put it together so perfectly. And it's not, you're not a party band. You're not one of those bands who, we're going to rock your socks off tonight and everybody's going to be dancing all night long and all that. You're more of a music lovers band, in my opinion. And when you went down that path, did anybody ever try to give you advice saying, hey, maybe you ought to add a bunch of party songs to your set so people are up dancing? I mean, do they ever do that to you?
Occasionally, I think at this point, most people know what we do. Now we have had people that come up and, just request a song that is just in a different zip code than what we do. So
Yeah, I hear you.
it's almost like, they haven't been listening for the last half an hour, so that there's no way we would do something like that. But most people are pretty, once they start watching it, they know what's going on, even if they've never even seen the band before. They get with the program pretty fast. And, you said fans and friends. The cool thing is that over the years, we've had a lot of fans that have become our friends. And so it just,
well, there's a great
show,
love. There's a great love for Crown Watts. I mean, the people that really like coming to your shows, they don't miss shows. They come as much as they can. It's a definite fan base that's amazing to me because, like I said, it's not the night you're going to go out and the woo girls are going to be in the corner screaming and dancing and all that. But it's a night where you can go hear great music that you don't often hear as cover bands do in a bar. And you hear great music and it's technically perfect. And you've recently made a change in the band. And you have Alex with us today. And Alex has joined the band as the new bass player, right, Alex?
That's right.
I think Alex is having some glitchies.
Hopefully my voice isn't glitchy, but yeah, I'm honored to be a part of this. Super challenging. Scott, I've been playing bass for 4 years, and this is the toughest stuff I've ever had to play. And I've been practicing probably 5 hours a night for the last month, trying to get this up and running, so I'm able to gel with these guys live and make it sound authentic. If I'm playing Geddy Lee, I don't want to hit a wrong note. I got to do Geddy well and play what he plays to the best of my ability. But I thoroughly enjoy it, and looking forward to the next chapter. Totally different change of pace for me. I've been in other bands, dance bands, southern rock bands, but it's my first prog rock band, even though I cut my tooth on prog rock back in the days in the 80s when I was learning bass. But so this is my first time playing prog rock live.
I'm sorry, we're glitching a little here, guys. I'm having trouble hearing you every once in a while, Alex. But Heather just posted a question. Were you in Three Piece Revival? She wanted to know.
I was. For the last 7 years, I've been in Three Piece Revival. Great band, great bunch of guys. Thoroughly enjoyed my time with them. It was fun. But when this opportunity came around, it was I couldn't, pass it up. So
thanks, Mark.
I told the guys, I want to try something new, something different, and so that's where I'm at.
And Shane, we're getting to that question. Actually, that's on my question list for these guys today, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here today at noon. Karis is live with us, too, here at noon from some remote location unknown, but she's got you guys playing on the weekend this week. There's Saturday, I think. Is it Saturday? Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, so they'll be at the Bell and the Bear on Saturday. And like I said, the first time I saw this band, I got invited. In fact, Glenn's on here, and I think Glenn was the one that told me I needed to check out Crown Watts, and I showed up at a place that's not even open anymore in Fairfield, and you guys were playing there. And man, I looked around the room and I saw this full house of people, and they are just, like I said, laser focused on you guys. And then it hit me why. It's because of the technical precision that you do as musicians. And it seems to me, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here, but it looks like that's what you're most proud of, that you guys, when you get on that stage, that you play these songs and do them justice. And these songs aren't easy to play, like Alex said.
No, they're not. And, we still haven't played a perfect show. I always said, if the band ever plays a perfect show, we have to break up because it's, so we're still together. So that tells you. But yeah, it's difficult to play, but it's never boring. I've never played a boring show with this band. It's too much information coming in too quickly to get bored. And that's a big reason we like it. I don't know if people are laser focused just because of the difficulty of the music, or it's almost like watching somebody almost get in a car wreck every 5 seconds. They wonder
Yeah, I
what's
don't
going to
know about
happen
that.
here, you know?
I hear you, but I
There's
really think it's the precision that you guys do. You're perfect at what you do, and it's a like I said, it's a tough task to get up there and play those kind of tunes. And why don't you mention some of the songs in your set list? Because somebody asked that just a minute ago. What's the example of some of the songs you're playing? And why don't you throw some of them out in case people watching have never seen you before?
Oh, wow. Well, we do a lot of Rush, so I think this weekend we'll probably do the Camera Eye from Rush. We might do like the R30 intro medley. Yes, Yours Is No Disgrace, and Roundabout, and we always, I try to mix it up a little bit each week because we're getting a big enough songbook that we can change out a lot of songs. Of course, that's why the pressure's on Alex. He's got a lot to learn, but he has done a incredible job
ton of
in
work.
a short amount of time
Thank you.
to get up to speed on it. So we're getting there, but yeah, like I said, we do some songs that are 4 minutes long. It's it's not a constant barrage of prog rock, but that's our bread and butter.
Yeah, Alex, learn those 100 songs in 10 days, will you? Come on. That's what needs to happen. So, Alex, how you
Definitely
feel
a
about
marathon.
joining this? How you feel about joining the band, Alex? I know you've played with a variety of projects and things, so this has got to be new to you, like you said, but how do you feel about it?
Oh, I love it. I have a few gigs under my belt now, and it's so fun to be up there and play with such talented guys. I mean, it's just a true joy. I mean, and yeah, it's I've done all different kinds of music. I was in a band called Uncle Six back in the '90s, which was a southern rock band. Noah Hunt, who now is with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, he was the lead singer of Uncle Six. And that was fun music. It wasn't real challenging, but it was fun.
I love that band.
And I think, what, Mark?
I love that band. That was a great band.
Great band, super great band. We had some national following. RCA and Atlantic Records were interested in us, and but I kind of went away when Noah tried out for Kenny Wayne. So that's how the history books were written on that one. But anyways,
I think Noah's still doing pretty good with Kenny Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad move. Not a bad move.
No, it wasn't a good.
Definitely wasn't great for you guys, but probably great for him. And I've got a question popping up on the screen here from Shane DeMoss. He's in a band called Half Life. I don't know if you've seen him yet, but you need to see him, guys. And he says, "How did Crown Watts come across Alex? So how did this connection happen?"
Well, like I said earlier, Alex and I were in a band together with Ryan, our drummer, called Highway Radio. Boy, it's been almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I was with the band. I was the last guy to join the band. So we were together in that for a couple of years. We did a record that sold probably 10 records.
That's right.
Tens of tens.
But it's a really good record, I think. Totally different than what we do in this band. So that's where I met Alex. That's where I met Ryan. It was in that band. And when that kind of went its way,
it was considered Americana, wasn't it? Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, it's totally different, but really well-written songs. Great singer Pete Adams, who I think he's doing a Grateful Dead like tribute band thing now. But he's a great singer, great songwriter. Yep. And so, when that kind of went its way, we all kind of went our own ways. And Alex ended up joining Three Piece Revival. I started Crown Watts with Ryan, and Danny Hunt, who was in Highway Radio 2. He was our initial keyboard player in Crown Watts. So, kind of got the band back together here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, come full circle.
Yep.
So any plans for Crown Watts to do original stuff too? I mean, to actually record or any of that?
We've never planned on doing that. Maybe someday, again, if we're just completely bored, we'll dive into that. But I've always kind of wanted to avoid that, mainly because everybody has such different tastes, and it's really time consuming to even work one song out. It's just a lot easier. Things just go a lot smoother, and it's a lot of fun just doing the cover stuff. So we've never really entertained that. Ryan has got several like solo records out that he's done, which he plays almost every instrument on, which is amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
I had a record deal years ago, and it takes a long time, a lot of time to come up with new ideas for originals and suss those out. And there's only so many hours in a day. So it's kind of like you can't really play this style of music and do originals. You kind of have to do one or the other. So no plans for that in the future, I don't think.
So with that said, then you're doing these cover songs of great music from the past that are out there. Both you guys, I want to ask you, is this your favorite style of music, or do you have other genres and types that you prefer, and this is just something you like to get together and do? I mean, I don't know. You throw it at me here.
Well, for me, I'm a big yodeling fan.
Alex is struggling hearing us, I think, and glitching in here a little bit. But Alex, let's go with Alex first. All right,
okay.
Go ahead, Alex.
Well, yeah, prog rock is one of many genres, I guess, that I enjoy. I've played pretty much every genre of music. Music is music to me, and if it's good music, I like to play it or listen to it. But prog rock is just one more notch on my belt of just an incredible style of music that's challenging, and so it's definitely fun. So
how about you, Mark?
Well, I said I was a big yodeling fan, but that's, you can't really start a band. I guess you could have a band of yodelers. I don't know. Maybe we'll put that together. Anyway. This is my favorite music to play. Guitar. I think, and I've been in bands that do a lot of funk stuff, and I love that stuff too. I love the old Motown stuff and Stevie Wonder and stuff like that, just because it's just so much fun for the crowd. So that would actually probably be my second pick, but I've kind of already done that. So, and it is a lot less technical to play. It's more about the fun. And we've all been in bands like that before. But it's still something I would do, just for the fun of it. So that would be probably my second pick, but this is my favorite. This is my favorite stuff.
Well, keep that thought, because I'm going to ask you another question at the end of the show today. But Shane, I should have hired you today to be an interviewer on here. You're coming up with great questions. How do you choose your covers, he says, and all songs that you love and people love, or songs no one else plays? That's interesting. I'd like to hear your take on that one.
Question, yeah.
Probably a little of both. We're kind of a selfish band. We pick songs that we like, and we hope the crowd will go along with it. We do try to find some stuff that most bands can't or don't play. Just to keep it interesting for the crowd. I mean, there's something to be said for playing some familiar songs that people are used to. I personally think Wagon Wheel should never be played ever in the history of humanity. The rest of it, but there's something to be said for that. But yeah, we try to pick stuff that people will find interesting and be like, wow, I've never heard a band play that. Some of this music, the original bands, you'll never hear them play it again because, you know, some of their members may have passed on or they're just getting up in years. And so that was part of the reason I wanted to start this, is to kind of rejuvenate some of those great songs that, you know, people will never really get to see live again, and to try to do them as accurately as possible. So that's a big reason, you know, part of the reason that we pick what we pick is stuff that's fun for us, but also that, you know, you won't go into another place and see a band playing it. So a little bit of both.
Right. Okay. Alex, when you stepped into the role here as the bass player for this band, talk to me. I mean, that I want to get a little deeper, because that had to be very intimidating to see this set list that they have and say, wow, I got to play those songs and get out there.
It was so intimidating and nerve-wracking. Mark threw out about, I don't know, give me 100 songs, probably, Mark. And they're all complicated. They're all long. They all take a ton of practice, and there's so many nuances.
I called him and said, "Hey, you want to come in and join the band?" And he said no, and hung up on me. And then he called me back.
I got scared, yeah. But yeah, it was a ton of work, but you know, it's a great challenge to just listen to this music and try to recreate it on your bass or whatever instrument you play, and try to do it as accurately as you can. I try to play these songs note for note. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm no Geddy Lee. I'm no Chris Squire, but I feel like I've got enough ability that I can pretty much pull this stuff off and make it sound pretty authentic, whether it's the tone of my Rickenbacker or, you know, whatever pedal you need to kind of mimic a certain part of a bass solo or whatever. So I'm really trying to be particular on how I play these songs, and
it's also a lot
real, I guess.
It's also a lot of fun to get into the guts of these songs when you're working out your part, and just to learn it and be like, wow, that's what he did there. You know,
right.
It's just like an ongoing mystery, and you're figuring it out one clue at a time. For me, I love that part of it.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I'm so glad Alex. I'm so glad Alex said what he said there, because when he said he likes to do them note for note, I love people that take a song and make it their own and do their, you know, the stylish things and all that. But when you go to the genre you guys are playing in the prog rock era, it seems to me like those songs are meant to be played like they were put on the record. I mean, it just seems that way to me.
Right.
Like that's what people expect to hear, because they were pure musical perfection. So they want to hear that perfection. You know, if you want to take
right.
Chris Stapleton's song and turn it into your own, that's fine. But when you're talking about Rush and Yes and people like that, they had a style that people related to so well. And I believe, I mean, in my humble opinion, doing it the way you do it is the right way. It's because people want to hear those songs that way, like they're listening to that vinyl album at home in the 70s or something, you know?
That's right. You know, people over the years, they've heard these songs so many times, these parts, these instruments, the notes, they're almost ingrained in your brain of what the songs sound like. I know, like a lot of these bands live, they vary what they play, but like you said, the studio version is usually what's ingrained in people's brains. So they want to hear that as opposed to somebody just jamming up on stage and playing whatever they want. Because
there's not a lot of wit in there.
What really is amazing to me, and I wish I had this, 30 years ago, but YouTube has become an amazing escape of these videos of like isolated bass tracks where I can actually hear exactly what Geddy or Chris Squire is playing, because a lot of that time it gets buried in the recording. You go years and years not knowing exactly what they played during like a fast run, but now they have isolated bass tracks and you can hear everything. whether it's the tone of the bass or whatever. And that has been like a huge help for me.
Me too.
And kind of learning this stuff like to an
I mean,
exact.
you still have to have the talent to play it. So
Still gotta have the
Yeah,
talent.
that's the key element there. You still have to be talented enough to even compare to those guys at all. And Heather, thank you for that comment. I agree with you 100%. I've said the same thing. You sit there and think, are you kidding me? These guys are doing this song. And and you just absolutely slay it, guys. I mean, you're one of the most technically perfect bands in the entire tri-state. I got to say that. I mean, I've been there. I've seen it. And I'm not dogging on any sloppy bands out there that just get up and have fun and play. And when I say sloppy, don't take offense to that either, because that's the way you like to play those songs sometimes. But you guys have this attitude about you that when you step on that stage, people expect a certain, I guess, aura to come off the stage when you're playing. And it's so cool to see that connection between your audience and you. It doesn't happen at a lot of shows, and you guys capture a room. And Mark Bransford is partially responsible for that as well, I must say. He's on here today, and it takes an amazing sound engineer to make this work and to make things sound right. And he is one of those guys that has the ear. You guys know that. I don't have to tell you that, but the audience is watching today. I'll tell you, anytime Mark Bransford steps behind, as we say now, the iPad instead of the board, he just brings it to CD quality in your ears, and that's the way it needs to be heard.
It's crucial. I mean, we can put in all the work and all the rehearsing we want, but if it doesn't come out of that front of the house sounding right, all that work goes for nothing. So yeah. He's total asset to getting the show where it needs to be.
And I'd have to say he's wholly responsible with you guys as well for your success, because sound will make or break you in any venue, and he just brings it. Go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, that's all right.
We're having Wi-Fi problems with Alex today, so that's why he looks like Max Headroom, if you remember that guy. But yeah, but we're hearing you okay, Alex. So go ahead.
Good. Well, I wanted to mention that Mark, sound guy. So I play Rickenbacker. And Rickenbacker had a very interesting, I don't want to say gimmick, but there's two jacks on there, and you can have the bass in stereo, which means there's a jack, or it's called Ricco sound. And basically the bridge pickup and the neck pickup are separated, and you can separate them into different amps or effects. And that was kind of common back then with Chris Squire and Getty to get their full rich sound. One pickup has the treble and the growl. The other pickup is the low end, and we're separated left and right. So I am actually trying to incorporate that into our live shows, it's not an easy task, because it's like Mark knows how to do it and I don't. But anyways,
Mark knows how to do a lot.
Sounds amazing out front, because you get that classic Rickenbacker sound, because the signal's split. But Mark basically talked me into doing that and trying that out, because a lot of bass players don't want to mess with it.
And a lot of sound guys don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hey, guys, a couple more questions before we have to go today. And I want to talk a little bit, too, about the Bell and the Bear show this weekend. But I want to know from both of you musical influences in your life. Mark Cooper, who was a great musical influence in your life that led you down this path?
Wow. Steve Howe from Yes, for sure. Huge. This is going to sound funny, but I loved Kiss when I was 12. They're not the most technical musical band, but they got me excited about being on stage and playing guitar. And I know I share that with a lot of musician friends. So I kind of grew out of them, in a few years musically. But I'd have to admit they were an influence. I mean, they got me excited about music, playing music in general. So that would be one. I love a lot of jazz players. I love Wes Montgomery. I cannot play that. It's way above my skill level. But That's a few. There's never been one single guy, I would say. It's just like a amalgamation of a lot of different styles and a lot of different players.
Well, Mark,
Yeah.
I've got to say that if I would have Family Feud surveyed 100 of your fans from Crown Watts and asked them the question, who was an influence in Mark Cooper's life for playing music, and someone would have said Kiss, they'd have got the big X, because nobody would have thought that. All right. I would have never imagined that. So. Alex, how about you, man? What's some of your musical influences?
Well, I would say Geddy Lee from Rush is probably my number one influence. But as Mark said, you're kind of a combination of all different musical styles and techniques. So, I mean, I grew up with, James Jamerson, Motown great. I mean, fantastic backbone of music. John Paul Jones, Chris Squire. You just kind of you're like a mix, a mixing pot of different styles. And if anybody knows my bass playing, they probably can hear these people come out in my playing. So yeah, it's like I said, I can't really say one person in particular, but I mean, Geddy Lee would probably be at the top of the list.
The one. All right. Hey,
Yeah.
Mark, tell us a little bit about this show at the Bell on Saturday. You guys hitting the stage, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I think. Is that correct?
We go on at 9 to 12:30. I haven't written the set list yet for Saturday, but like I said, I try to always make it interesting, and we're looking forward to playing the Bell. We haven't been at the Bell for a while, so
Always a great music venue there. People are into music there. That's the cool
It
part.
is.
Yeah.
It's just big enough to have a nice sized crowd, but it's not so cavernously big that you can't fill it up or you don't feel like you're right there with the crowd. So it's always fun. Karis does a great job, and of course everybody knows that. Everybody loves that place. So we're looking
Yeah. And Mark, you're kind of artsy too in other ways. Every time I see you out and you're not playing, you've got a camera in hand. Tell me what that's about.
Just another outlet to be creative. I started shooting pictures maybe, 2 or 3 years ago, and I love it. I love the whole process of capturing light, and I even love the editing process. So if I'm not doing anything with music and I want to do something creative, that's kind of my second love now.
Perfect.
It's great.
And
I'm
they
new
can.
at it, so it's exciting.
So the folks out there watching today, and there's going to be a lot of you watching after we're live, and we're going to try to get Mark and the guys here to share this to their pages. So if you have a question, throw it in the comments, and they'll see that pop up, and they can answer those questions if you have a question about the band, because we have limited time. We're a little over right now to begin with. So let's talk about your social media presence, the band on Facebook, right? You have a Facebook page, I believe.
We're on Facebook. Of course, you can go to crownwatts.com. That's our website. I think we might be working up getting back on Instagram. I think we started there. We haven't done a lot with that. So, but mainly Facebook right now for social media and our website, of course.
Crownwatts.com, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And anything else you guys want to share with everybody today before I ask my final question of the day?
Hope to see everybody on Saturday.
Go ahead, Alex.
I just want to say that the Crown Watts fan group that I've met so far have been super welcoming to me. After a show, they always come up and introduce themselves and welcome me into the Crown Watts family. And I don't know if you can see this pillow. A super fan named Valerie made me this pillow. It says Crown Watts on it. So Valerie, if you're listening, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Craig Ballard, saying you guys are the best progressive rock band in the area. And Patrick's a bass player. He's been on here all day, so would love to have you guys up in Springboro or South Dayton sometime. There you go. Thank you, Patrick. So, Mark, I lost your picture. I don't know what happened to you there. Mark faded away for a second. But it's a pleasure having you guys on today. I want to thank you. They're going to be at the Bell and the Bear starting at 9:00 on Saturday night. If you want to catch a Crown Watch show, and if you like progressive rock, guys, you got to see this band. This band is what Craig said, the best in the area doing what they do. As we always say, it's not for everyone. If you're not into prog rock, then you may not be a big fan. But the folks who do come see them are great fans. They're faithful followers, and they absolutely love what they do. And Steve Krakis is making a comment. He's recently joined DV8, and he says, from one new guy to another, welcome, Alex. So good to have you with us today, Steve.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
So, Alex, I'll say thanks. Mark left us for some reason. He faded off into the black abyss of the interwebs here. So we're going to get out of here today. Remember, guys, hit the share button on the show if you're a fan of Crown Watts and get it out there on your pages. Alex, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Scott. It was a pleasure being here.
Pleasure having you with us. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow live at 5 with our Who's Playing Out segment, brought to you by our friends at Heather's in Springboro. And that means that you'll hear the best bands and venues in the tri-state, including the Crown Watch shows, which Mark Bransford sends me each week, on our list of Who's Playing Out. So join us tomorrow at 5 live. Thanks for watching today, everybody. We'll see you next time. And get out tonight and support live local music and the bands and venues that bring it to you. Bye-bye, everybody. Hang in there with me, Alex.
Okay.